Hello, I'm Brittany. I'm an actor at TheatreINQ. I started acting when I was 12. I went and saw a production of Grease that the local musical theatre group did here in Townsville, and I went to Murrell's Academy, which I don't think exists anymore, Murrell's, no. And then one of the teachers there introduced me to Todd Barty at Props Youth Theatre. So then I went and worked with Props for a number of years and did speech and drama with Todd. And then he introduced me to Terri and Brendan at TheatreINQ. So Terri and Brendan created The Bridge 10 years ago. It's a training program for emerging young artists who want to pursue a career in the arts. And that can be in acting, in tech, wherever tickles your fancy. And they have created a bunch of classes and programs, workshops that facilitate your interests. So I did that in when did I do The Bridge? 2012, when I was in high school. Yeah, so they created The Bridge to basically give all of the students a toolbox of things that they could use. So like, for acting specifically, that's what I did. So I learnt a lot of different acting methods, had like a little taste of everything. And we did sessions, scene work. We were introduced to working on productions and plays. They had guest actors come back who we learnt heaps from. They ran workshops with us. And the goal is to teach young emerging artists what it is to be part of a professional theatre company. So we got to experience that. And then you also are mentored. You're mentored forever for the rest of your life. Once you're part of The Bridge, you're Terri and Brendan and Armanelle and Emery, everyone here at TheatreINQ mentors you for the rest of your life. They're incredible. And they mentor you, they teach you, they work on your audition scenes for you, and then sometimes, if you're lucky, you get into schools, or you get to work with other theatre companies that they introduce you to. You get to work on their productions here. So when I was in my second year of The Bridge, we did The Shape of Things, which was kind of when they first started doing the apprenticeship. So they hadn't done the apprenticeship before, and that was like the first kind of experience of them doing that. So there was 4 of us. There was myself, Jaden Popick, there was James Thomasson and Anna Wallace, and we all were paid to do the show, and we created the show at the old clubhouse at Allen Street. And that was such a fantastic experience because we got to do all of our costumes, we helped with the set, we learnt all of the behind the scenes of putting on a show. And that was such a wonderful experience for all of us. And then I got into WAAPA at the end of that year after that show. So then I went to Perth when I was 18 and moved over to Perth, and then did WAAPA for 3 years. So I did that. I did the acting course at WAAPA. I learnt so much there because they're an ensemble-based program as well. So it was very similar to The Bridge and TheatreINQ. And so I found it very easy to slot in there, and I missed home an insane amount. I missed TheatreINQ a lot, but I learnt a lot. And now I live in Sydney, and then myself, James and Lachlan have just created Stacks on Theatre with the help and mentorship of TheatreINQ. When I graduated from WAAPA in 2016 now, I moved to Sydney, and then I was very fortunate. I got a role on Home and Away in February after graduating, so I did that for 7 months. It was a guest role, but they kind of, because the writers were changing at the time, I was just really fortunate. They just kept my character around for a bit. So I was like, okay, I'll just do this for a bit. I'll stay for sure. And I learnt heaps on that. It was great to work at that fast pace. And then I did a show called Fighting Season on Foxtel, and I got to work both on Home and Away and on Fighting Season. I got to work with people who were in my year at WAAPA, which was so wonderful. It was so nice to work with them on our first projects after graduating. And then when I graduated from WAAPA, I also won, the school was doing a scholarship for graduating students. I won a scholarship to go to America. So I went over there and I did some courses over there, did some improv classes, some screen classes in LA. And I had such a wonderful time. I saw so much theatre in New York, watched some incredible theatre companies over there, bought heaps of plays. It was so wonderful. It was awesome. And then, yeah, I've done some theatre work in Sydney as well. I worked for, it's quite funny, a lot of the stuff that I've kind of found myself in is Shakespeare. So the last show I did was a Shakespeare that we were doing in pubs all around Sydney. So we would do it like in a very intimate space above the pubs usually, that are really used for like stand-up comedy and stuff like that. And yeah, so we did Shakespeare in there, but then COVID hit and we only got half of the run of the show, but that was lots of fun. Yeah. And then I've come home, I did Othello up here as well in 2019, and now doing Orphans. So this was part of the sessions that Terri had formed for the alumni in the start of lockdown. So she just put a call out to us all if we were interested in doing some online classes just to keep us all, you know, working and motivated and productive. So we're all doing these scene studies and reading plays every week. And we read Orphans, and we all had to do a scene from Orphans. And yeah, so the boys did a scene each, I did a scene, and then a bunch of us from Sydney, we were all meeting up and discussing how we should start putting on work together. And we're reading plays together. We were working on some plays at that time, and then Terri contacted myself and the boys and said that she would like to do Orphans with us, and she knew about us creating a theatre company to produce work with down in Sydney. So she said, let's do Orphans as the 10-year celebration of the Bridge, which I'm very glad that I got to be part of the show for that. And so she said that they would mentor us through producing the show for ourselves down in Sydney. So it's been a wonderful gift getting this show with Terri. We've been very, very fortunate, and they're just so generous. We're so lucky. Anytime I say I was telling all my friends down in Sydney about this opportunity, and they've studied at drama schools and work in the industry, and they were all just like, obviously so envious that we have people who are willing to share all of their knowledge. And that has always been the way with TheatreINQ. They've always just been so incredibly generous with sharing their knowledge. So we're very, very lucky. And the show goes on, starts on the 18th of March down in Sydney. So it's not long, so we've got a lot of things to sort out logistically. Our friends down in Sydney have very kindly offered to help us out and help us in areas. We've been given a slot at a venue, which is great. But we're doing it in a sort of similar setup to here. It's in a warehouse, so we're going to have to set everything up ourselves and do all of the lighting, trees, and so there's quite a lot to organise, but it's exciting. Yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. And then we're going to do some more work. We've got a show that we're planning on doing in June down there as well. So we just want to keep this momentum going, and I love working with the boys. So yeah, it's a very exciting time.